Hey guys, how many times have you tried to create a habit and only to just end up as it just another failed attempt? I used to be like that, and so I want to share with you one thing that I do that now allows me to stay on track and stay consistent and get past that point of drifting. But before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I release a new video. So it doesn't matter what we're trying to do, we've all tried to create a habit of some kind. We've all tried to do things every day consistently in our lives. Stuff like this, stuff like walking the dog, brushing our teeth, going for a run, going to the gym, doing housework. Like, we've all experienced being really motivated at the start, and then eventually, maybe it's a week, maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 2 months, the motivation, it seems to die, and we start drifting and end up just not doing it, and then making excuses and just forgetting about it. And so the problem is, when we're at the when we're starting with all this motivation, we think we can take on the world and we can do the maximum amount of that task. So let's take going for the gym, for example. Like, you think, oh, I'm going to do the maximum I can do. I'm going to do a million push-ups, and I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm going to be there for an hour or 2 hours, and it's going to be good. And for the first week, yeah, you might do that. For the first day, you feel really good. Second day, you feel really good. First week, yeah, I'm ready. Second week, I'm ready, and you're working your butt off. But when the motivation dies, it starts to get hard. And it's a totally different situation. You start to listen to your feelings. You start to say, oh, I really don't want to go today. I really don't feel like it. I'm knackered from yesterday. You know what? I'm going to take the day off today. I'll go back tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you're like, I'm still really knackered. I don't know if I want to go, you know. And one day turns into 2, and then 2 days off turns into 3, and then 3 days off turns into never going to do it again. And that's what happens. That's happened to me so many times. I'm pretty sure it's something similar to that has happened to you as well. So how do we get around this? Well, I use a technique. It's personally my favorite technique that out of anything that I've ever done. And it's really, really simple. It's literally to make it easy. Because the hardest part about staying consistent with a habit every day is starting. So if you can make it as easy as possible for yourself, then it's so much easier to start. Usually if you're able to start, you're able to finish. Let's take brushing my teeth, for example. I never used to brush my teeth as a kid. I used to be terrible at brushing teeth, and I'm paying the price for it now. I've got a couple of broken teeth. I've got a lot of fillings. My teeth don't look very good. I hate my teeth. But it was my own fault because I never brushed. And for the past, like, I don't know, 10 years, I brushed probably maybe once a day. I would never brush twice a day. But since the last 2 years, I've been brushing twice a day, every day, and there's been a very, very small amount of times when I haven't brushed. And that's usually because I've fallen asleep before I've remembered to do it or something. But I've made it into a habit. And the way I did that was to make it as easy as possible to start. Because I hated brushing my teeth. And so I needed to make it as easy as possible. I needed to take the path of less resistance. Now, I couldn't reduce the amount of time it would take me to brush my teeth, because you need to brush them for 2 minutes. So I thought, what else can I do? And so I took my toothbrush and my toothpaste, and I stuck them on my bedside cabinet next to my bed. So they're in reach, easy to get to. Because the thing that I found worst was having to get up and go to the bathroom to do it. The morning was easy. Morning I was out of bed, but it was always at night time because I'll be laying in bed, I'll be watching some YouTube or watching whatever, TV or something, and I wouldn't want to brush them. But if they were right next to me, I could just reach out and grab it, and whilst I'm in my bed, I could brush my teeth. Like, it took me a couple of times to get used to brushing your teeth without pouring water on it, but that was a little price to pay. And but once I started brushing them, I was like, I've got to spit this out somewhere. So I'll go to the bathroom, and that would be it. My teeth would be brushed. That was how I was able to do it every single night, because I just made it easy and in arm's reach to be able to do it. I didn't have to do anything to start brushing them. I just had to grab it and literally put it in my mouth and just start brushing them. Also, I now floss twice a day as well, and I've been doing that for about a year. And the way I made that easy was I used to hate flossing with the string, and I found out about you can get water flossers, and they're much quicker and much easier, and to be fair, I think they're much more effective as well. And so what I would do is I would brush my teeth in bed, and then I would walk to the bathroom. And the way I made it so I would floss every day is whilst I was brushing, I would get my container and fill it up with water, and then I would plug the water flosser in and do everything I needed to do with that whilst I was still brushing. It would be a bit awkward to do because I'll be doing this with one hand and this with the other, but it made it so once I finished brushing, I was able to just do it. I didn't have any resistance. There wasn't like, oh, I've got to fill this up, even though it's such a simple thing. It just made it so much easier to start. I was like, it's already filled up, I might as well do it. And so when you're creating a new habit, you're trying to do something, you're trying to do it consistently every day, just make it as easy as possible for yourself, and make it so there's not a reason that you don't start. So let's, for example, let's say if you're trying to learn an instrument, just say to yourself, I'm going to practice for 2 minutes. That's it, for 2 minutes. I want to play guitar, I'm going to practice for 2 minutes today, and that's all I have to do. Now you can practice for longer than that, but if you say to yourself, all I need to do is for 2 minutes, it's so much easier. Just pick up that guitar, start a timer, and then start playing. Once you start playing, you'll probably want to keep playing more. Just like reading a book as well. Instead of saying, I'm going to read a chapter, just say I'm going to read a page. Or even make it smaller. I'm just going to read the first paragraph. Because once you read the first paragraph, you're like, I'll probably read this page, and then I'll probably read this page. But it just makes it so easy to pick it up and say, all right, I'll do this tiny little thing, instead of saying, I'm going to read this whole book today, because you just won't want to do that. So make it as easy as possible for yourself, and you will stay consistent, and you'll eventually turn it into a habit to the point where you can make it harder for yourself. Once you've turned it into that habit and you can do it every day and you do it consistently, that's when you ramp up the difficulty, and that's when you start to improve your skills more and more and more. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video.